Welcome to the greatest show on earth with Adam Anderson, introducing the Anderson system. Are you ready to meet different personalities that live in different parts of the mind? Let's get started now.
I'm not crazy. Am I?
Hello, and welcome to our podcast. This is Benjamin Anderson, and today I want to talk to you guys about how do you know if you have dissociative identity disorder. So I guess I'll get back into a story of how we discovered that we were a system. Basically, I'm not going to get into any details of the trauma because I don't want to trigger anyone in the system. And so I'll keep that kind of PG, if you will. And so just to start off with that is that we had a lot of trauma growing up as a child. And the trauma consists of abandonment. It consists of things that were not good for a child to see. And also it involved also, I will say, I guess it can be sexual in nature. I hate using that word, but it was in that, it was in that vein, definitely in that vein of a child being taken advantage of. And so, I don't want to get too deep in this because I want to trigger any alters. And so growing up as a child, we began to create, you can say, different types of personalities or different types of coping mechanisms just to deal with the trauma, just to deal with what we experienced. And so we will create these, what we thought were imaginary friends, or eventually I grew up and I thought they were spirits. I didn't know that we had DID back then, but to me, they were either spirits or imaginary friends, whatever, but there were different aspects of our psyche. And so I grew up with that, with all those different types of ego states in my head. And so growing up with those different ego states in my head, I was able to manifest those ego states and let them live through me just to get through the day-to-day grind of life. And it caused a lot of stress, and it caused a lot of problems, especially in school. We got a lot of detention in school. We got a lot of suspensions in school. We dealt with a lot of anger, and we also dealt with a lot of disassociation as well. I remember in class just disassociating unbelievably so much, where the teacher would tell me, "Do you remember what he talked about in class?" Or like he'll call on me, and I will have no recollection of it. And so to them, it may seem like it was spacing out. And yes, dissociation is kind of like spacing out, but it was a little bit more than that, because I found when I was doing it, I kind of left my body. I was not there anymore in the classroom hearing the teacher talk. I was somewhere else. And so I found myself always being somewhere else when I'm faced with a lot of stress. And so my grades were failing. My parents were getting upset. And so it was just a really hard time. And also with that is that home life was not the best. There was a lot of issues with home life and drug abuse in my home. And eventually I got taken out of my home for a while, and I lived with someone else. I was almost basically given up, almost, I won't say adoption, but more almost like the state took me away from my parents for a while because of what was going on. And so I was separated from my mom and my stepfather for a while. And so and during that separation, I learned a lot of stuff that you should not learn from other kids who were in the foster system. And I learned how to steal and do things that are not appropriate to do. And even in that situation, I found myself, again, going into different types of states of consciousness, just trying to deal with the pain and deal with even the shame of not connecting and not feeling love for my mom, not feeling love for my stepfather, and also with my stepfather too as well. Knowing my real father and that he was never around. He completely abandoned me and my brother. He was never around. And so basically the only thing that my real father would do is every once in a while come over for Christmas and give us $200 or something like that. But yes, he may give us money, but that money my mom will take that money and basically steal from us, and she'll spend that on drugs. And so basically the money that was supposed to go to me and my brother for Christmas would go to my mother for her drug habit. And so, and anytime I would get any kind of money or any type of gift that was monetary, she would take it from us, or she asked me, well, can I borrow $50, whatever, however much it be? She'll tell me she'll pay it back, and she never does. And she'll spend it on drugs. Same thing when it came to like candy sales at school. She'll take the candy sales money I made from selling candy in the neighborhood, and she will take it and use it on drugs. And so it was a lot of terrible shit, And so we had to deal with that, me and my brother. And even my brother began to develop his own personas. And so I don't know if he has DID or not, but he had a persona called Jay Young. And he actually would tap into that persona and become that person for a while just to cope with the trauma. And again, I don't know if his brain split like mine. But and I haven't really talked to him about the Jay Young personality. And my opinion is I believe that he may have some kind of dissociative disorder as well, because he's able to switch into that Jay Young or into that type of persona. And so, but in my case, I had many of these type of personas or different types of profiles of identities, and I was able to go inside of them and live through them. And in living through them, I was able to almost like create different storylines of my life, and create different. And sometimes I don't remember these storylines because they're literally almost like basically they take over, and I'll have no memory what's going on. And these storylines will just progress, and it's almost like there's a different author, and he's writing a different chapter, and each chapter is written by a different author. That's what it feels like. And so it's always kind of playing catch up. But what's the storyline now? You know, so I'm always playing catch up with that. And so basically, I was really involved with religion. Religion was a key in my life because I grew up kind of religious. You know, my grandfather was a deacon in the church, and then he grew up more into a leadership role in the church. And my grandfather did some terrible stuff to me. Just put it that way. That is kind of like sexual in nature, and I don't want to get more in depth with that, but it was bad. And so with that, I had religious trauma because I trusted God. You know, to me, God was supposed to protect me. And the fact that I prayed to God because I didn't want to go over to see my grandfather, my mom always dropped me off because she didn't want to deal with me because she wanted to do her drugs, that this God did not protect me. This God did not come down and say, hey, Adam. And Adam is actually my birth name. My birth name is Adam, not Benjamin. And so me, Benjamin, I'm the host now. And you may ask, well, what happened to Adam? What happened to that personality? Well, he's been, I won't say, almost like he's dormant. He's not there. The little boy named Adam, he has to be somewhere in the system, but I don't know where he's at. So he's somewhere. Basically, it's almost like having a funeral for yourself. Like he's dead. He's dead. He doesn't front. He's dead. And so I had to take over Benjamin, and Nicole took over. And Rachel, poor Rachel, she took on a lot of shit. Rachel took on a lot of stuff for the system. She's our main trauma holder, and she took on a lot of, especially when it came to the sexual violence of it. She took on a lot of that. Like she embodied that shit. I remember more of the physical violence, especially when my stepfather put a pillow over my head and tried to suffocate me and kill me. Like I experienced the more of the physical, or even with you know, it was just intense. And so, and also, even getting up in the morning trying to eat cereal was hard to do. Not because there was no food in the house, it's because my mother was freebasing all night, and so all the spoons were freaking black. And so if the spoon's black because she's freebasing the crack, whatever, you can't eat cereal because the spoons are fucking black. And so it's fucked. It's fucked. So fucked. Yeah. Sorry. Hey, this is Rachel. We dealt with a lot of shit. It was hard. It really was. It was like a fucking roller coaster. Like, woo, we on this fucking roller coaster controlled by fucking crazy clowns. That's what it felt like. Like I'm on this crazy fucking roller coaster around fucking crazy clowns, and it seems like everyone is fucking with us. Everyone is fucking with us. And so, yeah, I took on a lot of that shit that Benjamin has talked about. I took on the whole, at least he can give me a drink of alcohol before he fucks me. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's hard. But basically, it was tough. It was fucking tough. And so I had to deal with all this shit. And part of me wanted to fucking kill myself. I'm like, if I would fucking die and I will kill myself, then that will solve the problem. It's like my life felt like a fucking run-on sentence. There was no period, or there's even no fucking pause. There was nothing. There was no comma. It was just keep going and going and going and going and going. And it seemed like we were running, and we couldn't stop, and we knew we was gonna hit a fucking wall. But the reason why is because our mom, we told her, we said we didn't want to go to Grandpa's house because Grandpa fucks us. We don't want to go to Grandpa's house. We don't want to go see Uncle Johnny because Uncle Johnny did some sick fucking shit. We don't want to see him either. But at the same time, we want to be with Mom because Mom is fucking cracked out. We don't want to do that shit. And so we found ourselves fucking making up stories about angels, fairies, dragons. I guess now that shit's in our inner world, but we found ourselves making up these fucking fantasies because at least in the fantasy, you can control it. At least in the fantasy, no one's going to hurt you. At least in the fantasy, you can make up love. You can accept yourself in the fantasy because you fucking control it. And so I'm trying to figure this out. I haven't figured this out yet. I'm trying to. And we're going through therapy with it. And so, shit. I guess this episode is about how we found we have dissociative identity. Thank you, Benjamin. And okay, so even with that, we realize that we can switch into different fucking alters, personalities, parts, ego, whatever the fuck name you want to give it. We're able to switch, and with that switching, we're able to cope with whatever is fucking going on in the household. Because there'll be times I'll be going that we don't want to go home after school, but you know what? School's a fucking joke. School is a fucking joke. The kids were fucking mean to us, always fucking bullying us and calling us names because we were in special ed. Yes, we were in special ed. Oh, we couldn't comprehend shit. We were known as a dumb fucking kid because we couldn't comprehend shit. We couldn't comprehend 1 + 1 because we forgot it was fucking 2. And it was hard for us. Difficult. But we learned that we have fucking ID. Dissociative identity disorder. Guess what? We are disordered. You know what it means to be disordered? It means you're fucked up. It means you're fucked in the head. And so, yeah, we have DID. And how do we find out? Through a psychologist. We went to a child psychologist, and he says, I think you have multiple fucking personality disorder. And my mom's like, what the fuck is that? And he tried to explain to her, but she didn't understand it because she was so fucking cracked out. She didn't know we had fucking DID. She has no clue we had it. And so now we're 40 years old, and we found out the whole manifestation of it. Now we realize that we're manifested, and it sucks. Sucks. And so now we're dealing with it. And having DID is not fun. It's not like a fucking, TikTok video. TikTok, you got these kids saying, look at me, I can switch. Look at me, I'm really cool. I can switch into a different personality. I'm really cool. Fuck you. Fuck you. You know what? If you actually switch into a different fucking personality, you will hate it. You know why? Because it means that you fucking hate yourself. You don't know who the fuck you are. If you're switching into a different personality, you don't know who the fuck you are. You have no fucking identity. You don't know who the fuck you are. You wake up in the morning, you don't know who the fuck you are. You look at yourself in the mirror, you say, who the fuck am I? You don't know because you don't know. It's like your identity is always getting stolen. You don't know who it is. It's not like a fucking TikTok video where these kids are like, oh, look how cool I am. Oh, fuck your coolness. Fuck your ratings. Fuck your switching. You don't know what it means to switch. It is hard, man. It is hard. And so I have to deal with this shit. Deal with the pain. Tomorrow I got therapy. Gotta talk to the therapist again. I like our therapist. He's a good guy. I like him. But the dude has no fucking clue what it feels like to be an alter. He has no fucking clue what it feels like to have DI motherfucking D. He has no clue. And he's good. He's trying to help us out. He's trying to research it. He's trying to do all kinds of cool stuff and trying to help us become a functional system, which is good because I don't want to no integration. Fuck you. I never want to integrate. No, because I like my individuality. I like being an individual. I don't want to be connected with someone else and being someone else's bitch. So, you know what? We're going to go to the whole functional multiplicity shit. We're going to do that. And so if you're a system out there, fuck integration. Say integration, fuck you. Fuck you, integration. And so, yeah. So how do we find out we have D motherfucking ID? This is how you can find out if you have DID. If you wake up in the morning, you don't know who the fuck you are, you're dealing with PTSD, nightmares, night terrors, your memory is all fucked up, you don't know what you did 3 seconds ago, you might have D motherfucking ID. Or even worse, sometimes you can switch and another alter can step in and you don't know where the fuck you are. That's how you know you got D motherfucking ID. So yeah, it's not fun. It's not, again, like a cool video like these kids produce. It's not fun. There's nothing fun not knowing who you are. It's terrifying. I want to say this again. Having DID is terrifying. And so anyway, I'm Rachel. And I'm the trauma holder. But know what it means to be a trauma holder? It means I'm the fucked up one. Like other alters, they're fucked, don't get me wrong. But if there's a level of fuckness, I'm like the top fucker. I'm like the top motherfucker. Like, I am the queen motherfucker. The queen bitch. And the other ones are just little low-level bitches. But I'm like the queen bitch. And so, yeah. So, yeah. And yeah, so please like and subscribe to our channel or to this podcast, because we're trying to give out more information about D motherfucking ID. Because if more people know about this disorder, the more people we can help. And you know what? People think, oh, it's a rare thing to have DID. No, it's not rare. It's not rare at all. You know how many fucking kids get molested? You know how many fucking kids get these fucking priests and they fuck them over? It's not rare. You know what's rare? It's rare not getting diagnosed. The diagnostic part of it is rare because you got these fucking psychologists and therapists who don't know anything because they won't take classes on DID or dissociative or disorders. They may get one chapter of learning about DID, but they don't actually go into depth in it because they're fucking afraid of it. And so what happens is that DID becomes something that is so looked upon with such disdain. And so having this disorder sometimes is shameful because when people find out you have multiple people living in your fucking head, they don't want to talk to you. They think you're like some kind of murderer or some kind of killer or like Billy Milligan or whatever the fuck his name is. Like they think that you're some kind of psychopath. You're not a psychopath. You're just a kid that got fucked up. You're just a fucked up kid. If the people who wrote the DSM, next DSM, I think it's DSM-6, don't put dissociative identity disorders, put fucked up kids. Then list all the things that fucked up kids have. List all the symptoms of a fucked up kid. And there you go. It's no longer DID. It's called fucked up kids. And so anyway, I'm Rachel. I'm in the system. I'm the trauma holder. Benjamin, he's a gatekeeper. And he dealt with more of the physical trauma and some stuff. And you'll meet the others as well. I'm not the only fucked up person in the system. Thank goodness. There's other people around. Thank goodness. And so anyway, I will talk to you motherfuckers later. And remember to subscribe to our channel, please, or podcast, whatever this is called. Because if you do, you can actually spread the word about D motherfucking ID. Okay? Peace.